2 weeks also we had during the novitiate program. Relax. I'd like to inform a very good news. For the last few years we have been working very hard, discussing with various ministers, finally prime ministers, regarding this religious education in the schools. So many years only Islam, so others had no chance to teach their religion in the school. Now the cabinet already approved. This other religion is non-Muslims also can teach their religion in the school. Minister of Education already announced, appeared in the newspaper, now waiting for the approval of the parliament. Freedom is there, but government does not give any support or any objection for that. Allow us to teach Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, or whatever religion. Now the trouble is the language problem. How many students can understand English nowadays? Then how many people are there who can teach Buddhism by using Bahasa? Even in English, how many teachers are ready to go and teach? Then who is going to prepare syllabus, program? These are the weaknesses of our Buddhist community actually. They do not prepare anything. They never think of the future. Now let us see Christians. Any moment, within 24 hours, they can start, because they are ready. They have well-trained people, they have ideas. Don't record what I am talking, huh? This is not... 3 days ago, we had a meeting with Pusat Islam, some deputy ministers and secretaries, to discuss our problems. And the deputy minister very frankly told us, Buddhists and Hindus are very close to us, but not Christians. There were 3 bishops at that time. Then I said, Christians are very active, very busy. They have no time to come nearer to you. So everybody laughed. Then the deputy minister said, this an eye-to-eye meeting is very good in future. Then I mentioned, yes, eye-to-eye policy is far better than eye for eye. So we had a very friendly discussion. Then we mentioned about RTM. Why the government doesn't consider at least once a month for a few minutes for other religions also. Then he said he will try. Then he said, we respect all the existing religions. Then I told, that is not enough. Simply you can say you respect. You must understand, what other religionists are doing here in this country, what they contribute for nation building, character building, the morals, ethics, peace and order, by training good citizens. Therefore, you must have some sort of recognition and appreciation. Simply you can say, we respect, that is not enough. So, now there will be another meeting with IKIM, also Islamic group. And another good news, I got telephone calls and fax message and letters. Is International Islamic University and UPM, University of Britania, Islamic section. They are going to print a book, Encyclopedia of Malaysia and Existing Religions, and asking us to prepare 5 chapters for Buddhism. The history and the teachings and the rites and rituals and ceremonies and the temples and the monks and all the detail for them, and Mahayana and Theravada. So we had to prepare. Slowly they are coming to recognize. Formerly they thought that is the only religion. This is a very good, very healthy attitude. The effort that we have made for the last 20 years by meeting them, discussing, associating with them, and now have come to some sort of conclusion to give more recognition. Then we mentioned restriction for the churches and the temples. They say we cannot build big building. So our Buddhist Missionary Society and church, what is happening is, when we submitted the plan, they rejected. They say too big. Maximum 30 feet. 30 feet with how much difficulty we can have 2-story building. That is their policy now. And they have given piece of land for us. When we have submitted the plan and everything, now they say this area is not suitable for non-Muslims to build their places of worship. 95% Malay Muslims. There may be some problems. So they say they will give another piece of land somewhere else. These are the problems we are facing now. So still we could not finalize. We don't know where we get a piece of land. And the Catholic Church already started laying the foundation and piling and everything. They have stopped. Cannot. So we must have patience and try to compromise as much as possible, and also find out their weak points also. So by knowing that we are not working in a Buddhist country, so Malaysia is not a Buddhist country, and cannot say this is an Islamic country also. Only Islam is the official religion. So Now, Middle East and so many other countries, they can say they are as Islamic countries, Muslim countries. So, our cooperations and understanding, then they said we must have religious tolerance. Then I told that word tolerance is not suitable, very weak. Something wrong with this one today. Huh? What is happening? Tolerance we practice when we cannot do anything. We tolerate. That is weakness. I had to tolerate. What to do, I had to tolerate. That is very weak, that word. Now, we tolerate your religion. It's not very healthy. Tolerate means without disturbing, without stopping, keep quiet. That is the meaning of tolerance. I told that word is not suitable. You must use the word understanding, not tolerance. We must understand why Muslims are practicing and these things. We must understand why Hindus are practicing all these things. We must understand why Christians and Buddhists are practicing all these things. Then we don't want to belittle or criticize or condemn. It is not tolerant. Simple example. Hindus don't like to eat beef. But others criticize them, the stupid people. What is wrong there? If they can eat mutton, why can't they eat beef? That means no understanding. Because they do not know the background. Cow is the only property for a poor Indian family for thousands of years. No any other property. So by keeping the cow and what do you call buffaloes or bulls, first they use them for paddy cultivation. Then they take the milk, make curd and ghee and butter and sell. And cow dung for two purposes. Fertilizer as well as make firewood. Mix up with mud and dry and use as firewood. Very strong, very heaty. But to make roti, they use cow dung fire. So, to them, cow is a very important animal. They believe after taking milk, how can we slaughter and eat flesh? It is cruel, it is wicked, it is unfair. That is the policy. It is not a religious issue. Nothing to do with religion. Now, Muslims do not take pork. They also have their own reason. And we must know how to appreciate that. That is called understanding, not tolerance. So, religious tolerance is not... I mentioned this in two meetings, once with this IKIM, Islamic group, and this one, the Pusat Islam. They also accepted. In future, they are not going to use religious tolerance, religious understanding. You must understand. Now, Buddhists, not all, in many countries, they do not eat meat or fish, vegetarian. China, Korea, all are pure vegetarian. But Japan, Mongolia, Tibet, they are not vegetarian. And Sri Lanka, Thailand, Burma, they are not vegetarian. But at least 20%, 25% vegetarian. It depends on how they take things into their mind. Since Buddhism is a very liberal religion, the Buddha did not introduce such restriction that we should not eat. The Buddha said it is up to us. If you don't like to eat, so much the better. This is the policy. This understanding must be there. So we should not criticize others. Vegetarian, those who take only vegetable food, criticize others, those who take meat and fish. It is unfair, because there is no such strict rules in Buddhism. Those who want to be vegetarian, so much the better, because their minds are pure. Okay, now you can record. If you recorded what I have said, I will punish you, no? Tonight, I like to talk a very important subject, but everybody knows, everybody believes, but nobody knows. What is that? Rebirth. Whether we exist again, becoming again, we say rebirth. Is it true or not? We believe that it is true just because we are Buddhist. Hindus also believe just because they are Hindus. Jaina, another religion in India, also believe. Sikh, Punjabis, they also believe rebirth. Then Islam, Christianity, Judaism, no rebirth for them. This is the first and the last life. No another existence, either heaven or hell, to them. Because God created this to test. If people do not follow His laws or commandments, then He will punish them by sending to eternal hell. If they obey the commandment, then they will, not they, God, will send them to heaven to have eternal life. This is their belief. Can you ask them, those children, to stop the running here and there making noise? You not ask them to take there and to play at the shine room or somewhere. So, this is a very big problem. People always argue, criticize about this rebirth. There's one British scholar, Huxley, Julius Huxley. He was not a Buddhist, but he says it is very unfair for God to send people to eternal hell for making a minor mistake, because God has given only one chance. within one lifetime, how can a person become perfect? Now, what is the difficulty for God to give few more chance to appear again and again so that they get the chance to be good or to purify? That is his criticism. On the other hand, why is it necessary for God to test us? Usually we do that when we cannot understand. Then we test. Now you want to test your blood. You want to test your urine because you do not know. Otherwise, there is no reason for you to test. If God is all-knowing, what is there for him to test? Why not he create all of us in heaven straight away instead of testing here? For what purpose? These are the arguments. So we are not guinea pig for others to test. Then they say those who believe the life appear again and again and again also become animals or humans or spirit or ghost or devils. They say there's no meaning at all. What is the big idea of becoming again and again and again? This is their argument. Therefore they say they do not believe that there will be another life to appear as animals or humans or devas or brahmas. But they have no idea about the human mentality and the karma formation, universal law or cosmic law. They just ignore. Only take the will of God. Hindus take the will of God in different ways. They say God will punish or reward according to our own karma. Quite reasonable. Whatever good karma or bad karma that we have committed, accumulated, and the net existence appear pleasant or unpleasant according to our own karma, and God is behind. And two religions do not accept that. Buddhism and Jainism, another religion, very powerful during the Buddha's time, Jainism. To them, there is no God behind or front. It is mere mental energy, karmic energy, cosmic energy, but not the power of the God, will of the God. Kammassa karako natti vipakassa vedu. Naidang atta katang bimbang, naidang parakatang. Here in Buddhism. This life is not created by me. I cannot create my life. I cannot create my next life also. I have no authority. But I can prepare the material to build that. But I cannot build it. At the same time, this is not created by or conditioned by another person, either God or anybody else. Naidang attakatang bimbang, naidang parakatang. Then, hetung paticca sambhuta. When the necessary ingredients, such as mental energy, cosmic energy, karmic energy, element, all these energies and elements combined together, then the formation as life or figure come into existence. Exists for a long period because there's a binding factors inside. Then slowly, weakening the binding factor. Then the noticeable things appear in our body. Indications appear in our body. How these binding factors are loosening, reducing. When we grow old, cannot walk, cannot think, cannot remember, cannot eat, cannot sleep, because energy is gone. The one day when the energy is completely disintegrated, dissolved, that existing figure also disappears. Person also disappears. But all the elements and energies again gone back to the same energy. Person disappears. For that, people say, oh, that person's soul departed and the body left behind. But Buddhism never used the word soul. Buddhism says this is a misinterpretation, misunderstanding of human consciousness, not the soul. There is no soul to go to heaven or hell or anywhere, but the consciousness. So when we analyze this consciousness, we can understand. Otherwise, we do not know anything about rebirth. Remain only as a belief. People say, if it is true, why we cannot remember where we were? That argument is not very, true. Because memory, we completely lose. When the memory is lost, we cannot recall it easily. But there are many evidences where people suddenly remember for a short period where they were. After their investigations, they found out what they have said is true. Mostly children. Therefore today, it is not necessary for people to depend on religion to understand that becoming again is true. It is not a mere belief. It is natural occurrence. Just like birth, sicknesses, old age, death. All these are natural. If anything happens after our death, that is also natural. Not according to the will of God or will of Buddha or anybody. It is natural. Existence again takes place. Then the Buddha explained why existence takes place again. Why we cannot stop it? Because many people don't like. While they are living also, they do not know what to do with this life. Real burden, real nuisance. So they cannot understand what to do with this life. Therefore, they don't like to have another existence. But they cannot stop. Simply by thinking. Oh, we can say, no, we don't believe that there will be rebirth. Simply by maintaining that belief, can you stop it? If it is natural, you cannot stop it. On the other hand, as Buddhist, you say you believe in rebirth. If there is no rebirth by nature, can you create that rebirth just because you believe? No, you cannot create. That is why I told you it is natural. So belief is not important here. Whether we believe or not, after our death, existence again takes place, but not in the same form. In different forms, according to our karma. Karma means good and bad thing that we have done within our lifetime. Karma is not belong to any religion. It is not a property of the Buddhists or Hindus. Others can say, oh, they don't believe in karma. Karma means action. Effect means the reaction come out from the action. It is natural. Also not come from God. Action and reaction. It is natural. You can say, I don't believe that. You cannot stop the reactions or the effect just because you don't believe it. Then, there are two more words. We use rebirth. Hindus use reincarnation or transmigration. Why we don't want to use those two words? Transmigrate means the soul. The soul migrates after death and go to another place. That is migrate. So we don't use that word transmigrate. Reincarnation, also a Hindu term, they use for appearance of the God again and again. That is called reincarnation. For rebirth, we don't use the word reincarnation. Only Tibetan borrowed this word from Hindus, now used as reincarnation. The other Buddhists never used this word reincarnation. Very clearly it is mentioned in Hinduism how God appeared from time to time. For that they say reincarnations of God. The first time the God appeared as a fish. That is the first life that appeared on this earth. Then went on developing as turtles and pigs and developed into animals and humans. When we observe very carefully, this is nothing but anthropology, evolution. They have introduced anthropology or evolution by taking the God into the picture. But Charles Darwin, in his anthropology, he explained how the first amoeba, one cell life appear in the water. Then developed so many cells and development also evolution. But according to his observation, experiments, by studying fossils and so many other things, he discovered only the evolutions of elements, elemental evolution. That is why he says we are close to monkey or chimpanzee or baboon, orangutan, very close. Then he never knew anything about the mental evolution. So Buddhism explains both how elemental evolution takes place according to the mental evolution. Mental evolution takes place according to our own karmic thoughts, karmic energy. Our character, behavior, nature, attitude, temperament, mood, thoughts, all these things are going on, developing, and decline. So, increase and reduce our thoughts, our ideas, our character. So, anthropology, Charles Darwin could not understand anything about mental evolution. So the combinations of elements, cosmic energies, take place through the influence of mental energy and karmic energy. These are the things that others could not understand. Now let us try to understand how rebirth takes place. Why we cannot stop this? If you want, how to stop it? These are the three things. In Buddhism, it is very clearly mentioned that we have three kinds of craving, very strong. Kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha. Tanha means craving. We have very strong craving for pleasure, sensual pleasure. All our problems and worries and fightings and quarrelings and jealousy, anger, immoral practices take place because of that craving. Craving for pleasure. This world is called Kama Loka, sensual world. Humans, animals, devas belong to this group. They are crazy for pleasure. They can violate morals, principles, religious precepts when they want to enjoy or indulge their senses. So that craving is very strong in our mind. No one can deny that. Then the second one, bhava tanha, craving for survival or existence, craving for becoming again or rebirth, craving for rebirth, and craving for eternal life. Everybody wants to be eternal. This is another problem. We are willing to sacrifice everything if we can save our life. Dhanam chajeyo pana anga hetu. We are willing to spend any amount of money. If doctors say you can save your leg or hand without amputating, if you spend even millions of dollars, we are willing to spend to save one leg. The craving for that. Later, angang chaje jivitang rakkama. Later the doctor come and tell, sorry, now it is very difficult to save your life without amputating. Then agree to sacrifice the leg for the sake of life. Craving for life. Then angang dhanang jivitang chapi sabbang jaje naro dhamma manusaranti. But understanding people are willing to sacrifice wealth, limbs and life, everything, for the sake of principle, dharma. Because the life dies, disappears, body disappears. But the principle that we maintain, upheld, never disappears. After our death, that principles remain to support us. Remember this. Rupa Rupang jirati maccanang nama guttang naji. Our rupa, our body, decay, die and disappear. Nama guttang najirati. The name, influence, principles never die. Let us take the Buddha, or Jesus, or Socrates. All of them have sacrificed. The Buddha, during so many previous births, how he sacrificed for the sake of principle. The body disappeared. He did not try to protect the body by breaking his principle. Now, more than 2,500 years, nearly 1/5 of the whole world population today bow down, respect. That name still remains. That name never died. Jesus, his name also never died. So, craving for existence or rebirth, we crave to go to heaven and enjoy our life. And we do not know actually where it is, what it is. Just only word. Heaven is a word. But we think that when you go there, we can spend forever. Well, that is to console our craving. We must have something. Then we want to become human beings again, but in rich families, not in poor families. Craving for existence again, rebirth again, depend on this. This craving is very strong. That is what many people say. Oh, actually we do not know what will happen to us after our death. They worry about that. That is craving. A group of young people who came to see the Buddha, they told him they do not believe all these things. They are not belong to any particular religion. And rebirth also they do not take seriously, that it is true. The Buddha said, you should not worry about that. Don't worry about your rebirth. Don't think of your rebirth. If we do your day-to-day work, reasonable way, respectable way, that is enough for you. That means, when we lead our life in a respectable way, naturally we are molding and preparing for the next life. But we should not worry about that. Thinking, we must do our work here. That is why the Buddha says, you must start from here, from this life. Not necessary to go back. Who created this life? How many millions of years ago human beings existed on this earth? Is not necessary. Your duty is to understand what this life is here today, without neglecting your duties and responsibilities, or without leading a harmful and indecent life. That is enough. Then you can get rid of your worries. You maintain. So this craving also very strong. Animals even tiniest creature, struggle for survival, attack others for their survival. That is craving. Then we have another kind of craving called vibhavatanha. Many people cannot understand it. It is called craving for non-existence. We crave not to exist again. It is also craving. Why? Our disappointment, unsatisfied craving, intolerance are the reason why we create that idea that we don't want to exist again. Craving is behind. We could not gain what we wanted. Frustration, disappointment, or decide to commit suicide. Craving for non-existence. With polluted mind. No one can commit suicide with pure mind. Polluted mind. Unsatisfactoriness. That is craving. Modern psychology also interprets three methods close to the Buddha's teaching, but not very close. They come near to the Buddha. They say, in our mind, by nature, we have libido, self-preservation, protection, and suicide instinct, psychological interpretation, by nature. Libido, confined but more on sexual side. That means sexual urge is very, very strong in every living being. But psychology taken only that. But the Buddha says sensual pleasure, not only one aspect. It is true. Then self-preservation, that means the battle that we fight for our survival. We crave for our survival. We do everything for our existence. Modern psychology interprets this as self-preservation. Then suicide instinct. It is an instinct in our mind. By nature, that idea appears in our mind when we are disappointed. I think Chinese have a very common word always. Whenever they disappointed, they say "ya." That is commit suicide instinct. Every time when they say "ya." See? That is called craving for non-existence. Now, we have these three. By keeping these three kinds of craving, it is impossible for us to stop our rebirth. Whether we believe or not, naturally, automatically it takes place. No religions or Buddha or God behind. People cannot understand this. Then, what happened? When we analyze human mind, Buddhism is a religion for you to study, not to believe. There is nothing for you to believe in Buddhism. To study and understand. I always say Buddhists do not believe anything. Study, understand, then gain confidence, then we know what to do. Beliefs are not important. We believe when we cannot understand. I say I believe in God, that means I don't know anything about God. If I know, I never use the word I believe. I never say I believe in the Buddha. No, because I know who the Buddha is. Therefore I cannot say I believe in the Buddha. The word belief is not important here. Then what is the human mind? You might have heard, so many years I have been talking and talking and talking, how I analyze this. There are 4 mental faculties. Simply we say mind, but there are 4 faculties. Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. 4 things. Feeling, experienced by the mind, not by the body. Body cannot experience feeling. Through the body, the mind experiences pain or pleasure. Vedana. Sanya, recognize who these people are, what they are, whether they are good or bad. That is another mental faculty. Then, third one is more important. Sankhara. Mental formation means wholesome and unwholesome, good and bad. Mental habit that we maintain, life after life, not only within one lifetime. Go on accumulating. That is called sankhara. A storehouse of consciousness. All our activities are stored, never disappear. But we cannot remember. One day when we attain the higher stage of sainthood, then we can remember, recall everything. The psychology says our subconscious mind, or the storehouse of consciousness, is just like a huge iceberg submerged in the water. Only little bit can see on the top. The rest all submerged under the water. So in our subconscious mind, all our memories are there. What we have learned, our habits, our nature, our wisdom, our stupidity, all are there. When rebirth takes place, few of them follow, combine. Then we use them as our habits. All of us have our own habit. No one has introduced, not given by the parents or anybody else. Our intrinsic, natural habit. We like this, we don't like that. That is the mental formation. So in this word sankhara, good karma and bad karma that we have accumulated, all are there. This is another mental faculty. They are the most important. Other religions never talk about these things. They talk about God and heaven and hell, that's all. Then Vijnana, that is a very rich mental energy. Why it is so rich? Our feeling, just now I mentioned, our recognition, I mentioned, our mental habit, I mentioned, contribute toward this consciousness. Then the five senses, eyes, ear, nose, mouth, all these five senses also bring object from outside and contribute to our consciousness. Now it is very rich mental energy. Beside this, in that mind itself, there are five mental ingredients. Avidya, Trishna, Karma, Upadana, Bhava. All of us have these five mental ingredients. Our ignorance. All of us are ignorant. Because we don't know anything about our life. We are ignorant. We do a lot of bad things because of our ignorance. We cannot deny that we have no ignorance. Everybody, until we attain higher stage of sainthood, ignorance prevails. Trishna, just now I mentioned, three kinds of craving are in that mind. One of the ingredients in that mind. Then karma. Karmic energy also in that mind. What we are going on collecting every day. Thought, words, action. Good and bad, good and bad, good and bad. Collecting. No one can live without creating either good karma or bad karma. No one can live. Because we have three strong roots which influence us to commit karma. Lobha, dosa, moha. These three are the main root, main causes for us to create karma. Now, Arahantas or Buddha cannot create karma because in their mind these three are not there, eradicated, uprooted. They cannot create any karma. But in our mind they are very strong. Lobha, our craving, selfishness, very strong. Dosa, our anger, our hatred, very strong. Moha, illusion. We create imaginations, maintain wrong concept, belief, illusion. Mind is deluded. These three are very strong. We create karma because of this. We cannot stop creating karma as long as these three remains in the mind. No one is free from these three. But we can suppress them, control them. But the roots remain. Now when we cut lalang, it's very nice, very clean. But the roots are there. After 1 or 2 weeks' time, you can see again growing. By suppressing those evil, we try to be good. But how long can we maintain that mentality? That evil roots going and developing, and topple our good thoughts. That is the main reason why the Buddha said, be wise. Don't crave to prolong your existence here in this samsara. The more you exist, the more you create bad karma, not good karma. Very few good karmas, more bad karma. Then you have to suffer. So if you don't like to suffer, what do you have to do? Try to cut short. Without prolonging life after life and life after life, try to see the end of this. But we cannot do that by keeping lobha, dosa, moha, craving, anger and illusion. By keeping these three, we cannot stop it. Again, by keeping kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha, craving for pleasure, craving for survival, craving for existence again, craving for non-existence, we cannot cut short. Now, some more. Avidya, trisna, karma. Upadana. Grasping. We develop some sort of attachment towards certain things, or some people then try to grasp. That is another mental ingredients. Grasping. No one is free from that. Then the last one, bhava. Bhava means karma formation. Before our death, one of our karma, either good karma or bad karma, appear in our mind as last thought. Then the mind hold on. Does not release. After that, death takes place. When the mind is holding that particular karmic thought, either good karma or bad karma. That is called karma formation. Now, you can see how many ingredients are there. For that, the Buddha used one word. Departed consciousness. Other religions take as soul. In that departed consciousness, all those ingredients are there. Just now I mentioned. Now it is like a rocket. So dynamic, energetic force. So when that consciousness is transmitted from here, it's called death, proceed. Cannot stop. it must land. That landing take place according to the direction given by the karma. Karma becomes the master at that time. Then the craving pull that energy, craving. After that, land, according to the karma. Either in the human mother's womb or animals' mother's womb, or either Deva or Brahma or a spirit or devil or ghost. That departed consciousness is responsible for that. So God has nothing to do with this. The Buddha also cannot do anything for that to change it. No one can change it. So I am responsible for my life because of this. Although I cannot create my life, but I am responsible. So if I am wise, I should not allow this life to suffer again. I think you heard many occasions I mentioned. Attanang che piyang janya rakheya ang surakkita. If you love your life, you should not harm another person. If you harm another person, you pave the way for you to suffer again. That means you don't love you. If you love, you should not work in such a way for you to suffer again, for your own sake. See how reasonable way the Buddha has explained. For us to think and understand. There's nothing for you to believe. Not necessary for you to say you believe in rebirth. It will take naturally. But your duty is to prepare. How to prepare? Do your duty without neglecting, fulfilling your responsibilities, and by leading harmless life. That is the way how to prepare. Harmless life. By leading harmful life, you prepare something else. So we cannot blame God or devil or anybody. So now you can understand how rebirth takes place, who created, whether can we stop it. Religion cannot stop it. The Buddha cannot stop it. God cannot stop it. But we can stop by reducing all these evil forces just now I mentioned. Then slow down. Finally, in the like Arahantas and the Buddhas and saints, they have completed their journey, ended. After that, no more sufferings, no more worries, no more disturbances, nobody to suffer, free. That is called salvation. The word salvation we use because of that. We will be free from all our problems that we are facing today. When we reach the final goal, we are liberated. It's called salvation. Yes, on that really 1.5 hours. Any question? Yeah. Don't. Otherwise, Their thoughts are free from craving, anger and ignorance. Pure. They do lot of good deeds, but they do not create any karma, because cannot create karma without these three ingredients. Good karma also we produce, we create because of our craving. We want to enjoy our life. We like to have a healthy life. We like to have a long life. We want to be rich. We want to go to heaven. Craving is behind. Therefore it is not pure. Mind is polluted. Craving pollutes the purity of the mind. So their minds are completely pure because these ideas never appear in their mind. Always kindness, compassion, patience, tolerance, all the good qualities. No evil thoughts in their mind. What happened? What is your question? You have not completed? Halfway, I think you stop. What is your question? Did you hear? Did you hear? So? No. Never. Not enough petrol to come back. Anything else? Yeah. Yeah, there are many cases. When people visit certain places, certain countries, certain houses, they feel familiarity, not a strange place. Then they say, I really cannot understand how I get this feeling. And some of them later, when hypnotized, through hypnotism, they explain. They were here in this place, that instinct is still there. That inclination is still there. All of us have this, but cannot bring up. Through hypnotism, today many people try to bring back that memory, that feeling they had during the previous birth. So, there is a story. Mahakassapa and a lady. That lady had a strong feeling toward Venerable Mahakassapa that he is her son. Every day she prepares food and wait until she comes with his being born to offer. She doesn't give to anybody else. Lot of similarities between Mahakassapa and the Buddha, his features and the complexion. So that day, the Buddha visited this house. Thinking that this is Mahakassapa, she offered the rice to the Buddha. The Buddha went out. Then after a short while, The real Mahakasyapa also came to this house, but she hadn't got anything to offer. Then she knew that she had given this food to somebody else. Then she went running and running, asked the Buddha, I want back the rice that I have given to you. So the Buddha allowed her to take back the amount of rice that he offered. He brought back and offered to Mahakasyapa. When Mahakasyapa came to know this incident, he thought, it is not advisable for me to stay here. There may be some similar incident can take place. So he decided to go back to the jungle. Then the Buddha explained why this lady developed so much attachment towards Mahakasyapa as her own son. Because during so many previous births, really, he was her son. So we have that attachment. Pubbeva sannivasena pacchuppanna hitenava evantam jayate pemang uppalangva yathodakya. These are the sayings of the same thing. Pubbeva sannivasena, due to our previous attachment that we develop. Pacchuppanna hitenava, the associations and the love we develop towards others. Within this lifetime also, naturally, we develop this attachment and love because of the previous experience. The good news for you, another. Today all are good news. Among those 42 novices, isn't it? Our novitiate program, about 42. And you come back to spend another 1.5 weeks to experience that bliss, happiness. And another one come back from Malacca to be a permanent. It's a good news. After a long time. And that Reverend Dhammananda from Malacca, 80 years old, monk who always come here, he is also after his novitiate program. Before that, only Mahinda, then Mahanama. This year, we got one from Malacca. If at least we can get one every year, we can. Because there are many temples, no monks. Now tomorrow there will be a wedding ceremony in Taiping, no monks. So we have to send a monk to Taiping to perform religious service. Johor Bahru, no monk. Malacca also sometimes no monks at all. So, very difficult. If you are not ready, what can we do? I hope every year we get one. Okay, then sharing of marriage. Himina punya kammena upajjaya gunottara acari upakaraca mata pita piya mamam Suryo Chandi Maharaja Gunavanta Narapicha Brahma Maharaja Indacha Lokapalacha Devata Yamo Mitta Manusacha Tavirika pice sabbe satta sukhiyantu punyani katahi me sukhaṅca dividam dentu khitpaṅ papeta vomatam imina punya kammena imina uddisena ca khitpaṅ sulabhe ceva tannupadana ce ye santani hina dhamma yava nibbanato mamam nasantu paddhaiva yatta jato bhave bhave ujjitto sattipañño salleko viriya maralabantu no kasam katunca viriyesu me buddhadi pavaro nato dhammo nato aruttamo nato pacceka sambuddho sangho nato taro mamam te